Blatant racism always astounds me. This person says that Europeans taught indigenous people how to bathe. The same Europeans that were pooping and peeing into pots and then throwing them out their window onto the street. Same ones that made the River Seine in France. And I say this as a Quebecer as well as an indigenous person. The river in France is so polluted it cannot be swam in. There has actively been black people teaching white people on TikTok how to wash themselves using a washcloth. Do you know why the Black Plague spread so much? Because of rats. The entire mythology around witches having cats is because during the Black Plague, single women who owned cats were not getting the plague. And they were not getting the plague because their cats were making sure they didn't have rats. And instead of people understanding that those women were cleaner because they didn't have rats infesting their homes, they claimed literal witchcraft. Every single herb, every single thing that grows out of the ground that is good for you, that does something for you, that is medicinal, was essentially banned by Europeans and then rediscovered by Europeans because it was viewed as savage, and then they went, oh, they were actually right through scientific study. Indigenous people knew how to get rid of human waste in a way that was beneficial for the environment. Europeans put it into their source of drinking water. Food safety? I only recently found out about how there used to be basically like a pot of stew over a fire that Europeans would just keep going and would throw in food, and it would just like over time they would just keep it like weeks, months. One time I was friends with a girl and she put a crock pot on the counter and she put the sauce in and she cooked it and then she turned it off, and I was like, oh, do you want help putting it in containers? And she goes, no, I just leave it. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, I just leave it on the counter. And I was like, but that's your meal prep for the week. And she goes, yeah, it's fine. I'm fine. I've never gotten sick from it. She would leave the entire meatballs with sauce on the counter at room temperature the entire week and just take from it as she needed. Like, I don't really think you realize how little legs you have to stand on when we literally know what a chamber pot is and where it was thrown.